Podcast episode 45, Drew? 45. So love it. All right, here's what we're gonna talk about. How to connect with any client fast. And like the truth and the myth or the bullshit regarding rapport building. Because what you have to understand is at the end of the day, you build relationships with clients by understanding what they want, what they need, and then what void you can fill. What I mean by that is when I got into sales, guys would say to me, it's all about building rapport. You got to build rapport. You're going to build rapport. You're going to talk about this. You're going to live pictures. And we were door to door. Like we were in the home. We were calling leads. Don't go door to door. If you're door to door knocking, quit. If you're door to door sales, quit. If you're at a company with no leads, quit. I just made you a bunch of money. No matter what you do, quit. Because you're going to hate it eventually. Only the guy that's at the very top makes any money. There's no leads. You're going to go broke. So that being said, you have to understand that when we would go to people's houses, have leads, call them up, sit down, and spend 15, 20 minutes allegedly rapport building, I didn't do that. My peers did, and I did better than they did. And they would say to me, well, I did my rapport building. I'm like, no, you became their friend. And it's easy to tell your friends no. It's hard to tell a stranger no. So you're going to their house. You're trying to like force the rapport. Like be complimentary. My job was I was going to be complimentary about something in the house, no matter where they lived. I grew up in a little tiny apartment, 1 bedroom, my mom, my brother, too many birds and cats and stuff. So I can find anything to compliment. Okay. But I didn't spend 15, 20 minutes trying to become their friend. Because I got a job to do. How do you connect with any client? Number one, they have to know that your approach is a strength-based approach. That they are confident in doing business with you. That you are going to fill the need they asked for in the lead that they filled out. You don't have to start worrying about what am I going to do for 20 minutes to build rapport. They filled out a lead. They filled the form out. They gave it to, like they sent it in. You already know. You began your rapport building then. And what happens is you're going to build some rapport throughout the process, but you're only building rapport as you're making progress. Explain what the product is. Explain why they need it. Explain the one that best fits them. Explain the consequence if they don't have it. And then when you're doing that, you will talk about life. You'll talk about kids and family and sports. You'll do that in the process. But when you begin an appointment over the phone or in person, and what you're doing purely is, I'm just going to spend this time to build rapport, you're going to become their friends. Familiarity breeds contempt, and people can say no to friends, but not to strangers. Now, how do you build that relationship, that connection with a client? Any client. How do you do it quickly? Great question asking. So if you start telling me a bunch of things, but don't get information from me, we're not connected. Like even if I filled out this form, mailed it back, you got my information on, you come out to my house and you start like, you better ask questions like, when you were filling this out, what was the biggest concern for you? Closed-ended questions, not open. What were your feelings as you were filling? Well, my feelings were, when you were filling this out, what was your number one concern? If you don't mind me asking, why had you never filled it out before? When you filled out this form, what were you hoping to accomplish today with our appointment? So I understand as I sit in here, what is your biggest concern today? So no matter, pick any product. For me, life insurance, real estate, everything I was selling. What is your biggest concern? If you don't get the product today, what is the biggest concern you have? And what is something I need to be aware of throughout the process that if I don't ask, I won't know? Those are all great, great questions. You build connections by asking great questions. You also build connections by utilizing silence. When you ask somebody a question, shut up and listen. There's so many salespeople that ask a question and feel obligated to fill the silence with their voice. So when you filled this out, Tom, what was your biggest concern? If Tom goes, I don't know, I just wanted the information. Yeah, but what information were you most concerned about? Well, it says that if, I die, it helps me pay my mortgage off. Okay, what is your biggest concern today regarding your mortgage, Tom? Well, if something were to happen to me, I want my family to be able to live here. Got it. Is there anything today, Tom, that stops your family from being removed from this home if you die and it's not paid off? No, there's not. Okay, then obviously we both know what the problem is, Tom. My job is to make sure that I fix that problem. The way I look at this, Tom, is like a dam and it has a leak. Like everything else, and you got a lot of good things going on in your life with this little leak in the dam, which could be pretty astronomical if you die tomorrow, since none of us know when we're going to die. My job is just to go ahead and fix that leak. That's all. That's all I got to do is fix that hole so you're not worried about it. That's all I got to do. But you have to be a great question asker. And what you have to understand early on in the question asking process, you're trying to connect with people. If they're ever going to be difficult, it will be at the beginning. They don't know you. They don't know how hard they can push, so they want to push. What are they challenging? When somebody's challenging you in a sales opportunity, they're trying to determine how convicted you are to doing your job, if you're a strong person, if you're going to stand up for yourself. If you don't stand up for yourself, you can't stand up for them. You do understand that, right? Like people that don't stand up for themselves don't stand up for other people. They don't go out of the way and be like, that guy over there, I'm going to go stand. Like you don't even stand up for yourself. So they're subconsciously, psychologically just testing you. That's what they're doing. So you have to understand the process. You need to make sure when you're asking questions and they're trying to avoid them by giving you one-word answers, you follow it up with a question. As you look at the product, what is your biggest concern about buying today? Well, I don't really have one. Well, it seems to, because we've identified that you need it, with all due respect, but it kind of like, I keep getting some pushback from you. What's your biggest concern? Whether I can afford it. Thank you. Like, you want to talk about connecting with somebody? Now I know your biggest fear. I was strong enough to ask you. You were able to answer. Instead of me sitting here and you sitting there and me selling and understanding that what you're trying to get your arms around is it's not a good time for a new bill. And instead of me trying to use some bullshit salesman tactic, I go, hey, Tom, you know when a good time for a new bill is? Never. I jump in there with you, man. I'm in the foxhole. I understand. I get it. I spent many a day, week, month looking at my bills and trying to figure out, how do I get these things paid? How am I able to manage this? Am I able to hit that? Am I able to not? Like, what am I able to do? Can I hit that bill right there? Can I make that payment? Can I hit that number this month? That's how much my bills are. Am I going to be able to do that or not? Like, I get it. But this is something you need. And that's why I'm in a need-based product. That's what I do. I want to sell things people need. Not that they just might want, because just might want things have a hard time sustaining bad economies, pandemics. They just do. So you really have to understand that your job is to continue to utilize the question asking process. Whoever asks the most questions wins. And once they determine you're standing up for you, there's going to be a connection because you're providing them a service or a product, and they want to know if you're strong enough to do your job. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be, I install your roof. I know you need a roof. You fill out a lead and say, I need a roof, and I come out. What are you thinking about when I come out? Number one, can I trust the guy? If there's a problem throughout the process, will I be able to get a hold of him? Will he communicate with me? And lastly, if after he leaves I have a problem, will he come back? Like, how good will I feel about the job he's doing? Like, I got a leak in my roof now. I don't want to leak anymore. It's causing a problem with my sheetrock. You know, I got to repaint and re-sheetrock. I don't really want to do that. I'm worried about mold. Like, are you going to come back? Am I going to have to chase you? So you have to demonstrate that strength through your demeanor and your behavior and your courage to ask questions and to answer questions with a question. Well, I just like the information because I know you just need to make sure you do your job and get paid. Tom, let me ask you something. Do you think if you buy this product or don't buy the product, it's really going to affect me? Well, of course I do. I think you want to get paid. Well, Tom, I'm going to get paid either way. There's plenty of people that want the product. Having the amount of people that want the product is easy. I have leads. So I'm not going to retire if you buy it. I'm not going to quit if you don't. You're standing up for you. You're not being rude. You're not going to be pushed around either. That's how you build a connection. as opposed to trying to BS your way through things. Because if you're BSing your way through things, the client's going to pick it up pretty quickly. And when they feel that, what are you going to do when there's a problem with the roof? Or your family member gets sick and there's a disability policy you need to call about, or whatever it happens to be. You're a general contractor and you're bidding out this job. What do you think they're thinking? Is this guy going to do what he says he's going to do? So you also have to meet people where they are. And what I mean by that is everybody communicates differently. If you're talking to me and I'm like, dude, I get it. You're at my house. Let's say I even filled something out. Now, the magic though to lead-based sales is knowing that if you're getting a 2 or 3% return on your leads, if people are telling you it's 10, 20, 30, like run. But if you're getting a 2, 3%, like you send out 100 and 2 or 3 people send it back, that's pretty good, man. That's actually really good. The other 97% of those people, I want to introduce you to them. Right here, you're looking at one. I'm a guy that's never filled out a lead in his life. I've never filled out anything and sent it back to anybody in my life. So for me to tell you what I'm going to say to you if you call me is complete fiction. I don't fill it out. Yes, I would be more complicated, but I don't fill those things out. That's just who I am. That's who I am. That's who most of us are. So we're taking the small percentage of population. It's like, hey man, I need help. I'm good. Like I'm here. Now, do I go seek help from people? Do I ask questions? Absolutely. But as far as having people come by, just not something I've never done. So you have to understand your client. They're already pretty trusting. But if you're not confident and secure, you're going to cause distrust. So a lot of times people try to be too nice to build this ridiculous rapport, and they never have any direction in the appointment. What do you think I'm thinking as a client? You're being overly nice. You're talking to me about everything but what we're supposed to be talking about. You're not in control of the situation. There's no sense of urgency for me because you're not in control. There's no sense of urgency for you, which I can tell. Like, what are we talking about here? And now I'm becoming distrustful when you might be a really good person and you might be doing nothing wrong, except your approach is not a strength-based approach. And you're going to be there for an hour. You're going to be on the phone or in person for 2 hours getting nowhere. Whenever I'm on talking about anything, I had a guy today on a Zoom where I know what I'm trying to accomplish. I know what he wants. I know why he's referred to me. He talks for 3 or 4 minutes. He likes to talk. He's not a bad guy. But I immediately go, hey man, so-and-so was telling me you wanted to talk about this, this, and this. He's like, yeah, that's why I was like, great. And even that, I'll open up the question where it's not like a sale, like it's a lead. And I'm like, tell me how things are going. Oh God, get your helmet on, dude. They'll talk forever. And immediately I'm like, why'd I do that? Right? Like, Andrew, you were here. I'm like, why don't I do that? Like, I know it wasn't a lead, but I'm like, then I had to get back in, and as opposed to like, great to meet you. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is why I'm good at it. This is why a lot of people tend to want to work with me. This is what I'll do through the entire process. I'll always shoot you straight. I ain't gonna lie to you about nothing. I'm gonna give you all the information, tell you what you can or can't get. And any questions you got, if I don't know the answer, I'll get it for you. I'm pretty good at knowing the answer. If I don't know the answer, I'm not gonna pretend I'm gonna get the answer for you. And here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. That's how you build a connection with any client. Now you do know how to talk to the guy. If I roll up the house and the guy's MFing everybody, I better not go, well, Tom, I think I better go like, Tom, I got it. First of all, you don't need to keep cussing me out, Tom. I'm 5 feet in front of you. Like, I get it. Matter of fact, you're screaming so much, you're spitting on me. So I totally get it. Like, I'm not mad at you, Tom. I'm right here, bro. Like, your communication is different than if it's like pretty cerebral with the person, where the person's like, if the guy's like, well, Shawn, that's just not, I don't go, well, Tom, I meet him where he is. I meet her where she is. Like, I understand my clients and communicate where they are. That doesn't change me asking questions, me being in charge, me having a strength-based approach. That doesn't change any of that. But what it does is my communication is different because I'm meeting the person where they're at. And they have to understand that. And they're more comfortable. But then again, still strong, still strength-based, still great question asking. That's rapport building. That's connection. When you say rapport building, I say, what kind of rapport are you trying to build? Well, I want to connect with them. Okay, what kind of connection are you trying to have? You're trying to build rapport to what end? Well, I want them to feel comfortable with me. Great. So you're telling me that you're going to talk to them for 15, 20 minutes about bullshit that's nothing to do with the product. You're not going to talk about what it is. You're not going to ask good questions, closed-ended questions. You're not going to put them in a position where they're buying, they're making a decision. You're going to screw around for 15, 20 minutes and BS, and you think that's going to make them trust you? Aren't they going to distrust you? Because then I can walk in immediately. You know, I sat in an appointment. I had the pleasure of being in insurance for a month. Going to somebody's home, husband, wife, there's already an individual there trying to sell them insurance. I get frustrated because when I answer the door, they say, hell, we were going to call you and cancel our appointment. There's a guy from your office in the living room. And I'm like, that's funny. I don't have an office. Like, it's just me. Like, I just got licensed a month ago. I work out of my house. Like, so he was lying about being in my office. Like, he ain't in my office. I ain't got an office. So I walk in. I was like, oh, well, I don't have an office. I'd love to just, so I sit down. He gets a little frustrated. I let him, and he's, 45. He'd already been there for like 45 minutes. And I waited, and I finally just said before there, and he was like, well, at this point in time, I make a decision to, and he just couldn't even close a deal. And I said, guys, if you don't mind me asking something, number one, why don't you let me show you what I got? And it will not take an hour. That was a lot. But let me make sure I understand this. Sir, you work full time. You have 5 kids. Your wife stays home. Is that accurate? Yes. Got it. And I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, you fill this form out because in the event of a death, your wife can't afford to live in this home without you. Correct. Okay. Where would she live if you didn't have it covered? I don't know, but I wouldn't want her to live where she'd have to live to afford it. Got it. So your number one concern is that. Yeah. I'm like, then why is he talking about these other products? What's that got to do with your home, your wife, and your kids? He says, I guess nothing. The other guy started interrupting. I said, hey, nobody's talking to you anymore, bro. Like, your turn's over. You smile. You just did. You smile. Your turn's over. Like, that was really bad what happened. I don't even know what you were talking about. And he gave you more information about the insurance. Are you going to buy the insurance company? Are you going to buy stock in it? No. Are you worried about you or the color of the printouts he's got and all the trifolds? And do you care about that, or do you care about your family? Guys, like, my family. I'm okay. What he was saying was confusing. I'm only here to talk about your family. So here's what we're going to do. I slide over, ask dude to switch seats with me, which he does. Weirdly enough, sits there. And then 12 minutes. I'm like, let me ask some questions. Do you mind talking in front of him because he's still here? He's like, no, I don't. Okay, cool. Let me ask some health questions. His wife was in the kitchen doing stuff. While the guy said, do you mind sitting here? Because this is very important. I don't know why you were like, I need both of you here because whatever we do here with your husband is going to affect you and your kids. She's like, yeah, thank you. I'm like, cool. So I do all that. I take control of the situation. And then they give me their banking information and buy a policy, which took me 22 minutes to sell after I had to listen to this guy ramble for 45 minutes. And he rambled 45 minutes before I got there, they told me. So, and then when he got up, he got upset and was like, I wish y'all didn't waste my time. I said, that's not their fault. They called the guy that sucks at his job. It's not your fault, guys. I said, he's just not good at his job. He tried to sell your product you didn't even want and confuse you. Hell, I have a life insurance license. I was confused. Now, you go just say all that. I said all that. You want to call anybody I work with, ask them and be like, that's what Shawn does. He does exactly that. Because don't they deserve it? I'm advocating for them. Don't they deserve the truth? They deserve the truth. 100% they deserve the truth. So you've got to get people to understand that dynamic. That's how you build those connections. And I would say connections with your client. Are you looking for a new friend, or are you looking to protect them? Whatever it is, their roof, you're selling them. I don't care what you're selling them. It doesn't matter to me. Food, it doesn't matter. Like, are you looking to do your job, meet their needs and protect them, or are you looking to make a new friend? Which one are you looking for? Because if you come to my house or you call me and your only goal is to make a new friend, I'm like, damn, I wanted an adult to call me to get me the product I inquired about. I don't know. I don't need new friends. I got friends. Like, now I'm more nervous than I was before. That's what you've got to understand. So that's how you build rapport, the appropriate rapport. Your rapport should be, I'm a strong person at what I do. Ma'am, Tom, Tina, whomever, kids, I will be there. And what I say I'm going to do, I'm going to do. You can trust in that. I'm going to be direct. I'm going to control the situation. I'm going to help get us in the right direction. I'm going to ask great questions. If you ask questions that are trying to get me off track, I'm going to ask questions back, because my job is to do my job and to get you the product that you need, that you filled out. So That's how you connect with everybody. That's how you build rapport. You got some comments for me, Drew? All right, so I want to wrap up with these. All right, first of all, thanks for the comments. Look at that. Starts off perfect. Sad smile clothing. I like that. Sad smile clothing. Here's what we are going to do. I've said it like 5 times today. Most underutilized statement in sales, and I don't hear nobody else teach on it. They should. I teach all my people on it, and they use it, and they crush it. Rich Towsley. This guy gives the most practical, no bullshit, real world advice out there. Smart man. Well, Rich, first of all, I appreciate you. That's my job, is to give like what's crazy is, Rich, don't people know we can tell, right? Like when you're listening to somebody that's completely full of shit, we know. Now, what happens though is we don't call them out a lot of times. Like I'll be like, hey, bro, you don't mind me asking, it seems like you're completely full of shit. Tell me more about that. Like, where'd you make those sales? Or where'd you get those leads from? Or like, so Rich, shooting people straight, man, but I do appreciate your feedback, and I appreciate your comment. I appreciate you watching, dude. I really do. It means the world to me. Danny Franco, 6054. What's the line of saying less is more and the silence for self-talk and exhaustion objections before they arise and explaining and it cut out. So I don't know if you're asking me like less is more. I don't know if you're, I don't really understand that. In the silence for self-talk, exhaustion, objection for what I will do is I'll speak to all that. That's all I can do. And I don't know why it cut off, or explaining the why. Maybe just call it the very last letter. We tend to talk ourselves out of sales. We tend to talk. I've seen people negotiate business deals that are done. They're negotiated. Like I'm at the table and dues are done, but one can't stop talking. He can't. Like he just can't not hear himself talk. And I've seen deals die. You can say things to yourself that you do not need to say out loud. You can listen when somebody's talking and take in all the information, because that allows them, and if you're just reiterating what I was saying, thank you. I hate to be redundant, but these are great points. And if you weren't agreeing, I'm not following that in here, but I'm cool with that too. You know, when I say to somebody, what was the number one concern you had when you did this, when you fill this out, when I did, like if I do that and I get to your why, dude, a lot of the objections go away. Because like, what objection is bigger than your why? Like if you're like, my roof leaks, that's why I filled it out. I don't want mold. I got kids get sick with mold. Dude, what objection supersedes that? The answer is none. There's no objection greater than my why. So if you can get to the why, ask good questions, let them say it out loud. Once they say it out loud, dude, it's a wrap. So, but thank you for the comment, bro. I appreciate it. Hustle for Life, 718, powerful. Thank you very much. Slot House 69. You don't know anything, Baldy. What do you sell, Slot House? Do you actually have a company? Do you run anything? Do you make any real money? Or you just get online and talk shit? And if you get online and talk shit, good for you, but be honest about it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to determine, like, do you have any success? And if you do, if you're like, I have success, get online and talking shit. I am bald. You are right about that. But I do know a lot. You're definitely wrong about that. And I don't tell about things I don't know about. But again, bro, I can't tell from the picture what Slot House 69 but I do appreciate your feedback either way, because I'm a grown-ass bald man, and I can take it. Shane Bornheimer, 5546. Somebody has to be in control. If you lose it, the customer will be in control. Shane, you couldn't be any more accurate. Here's the bigger deal. Like, the customer will be forced to take it. Not only will they be in control, right, Shane, because you're right, like, you're not taking control. You're in your rapport building for 25 minutes. They're like, dude, what are we doing? Like, this guy filled this thing out. Like, what are we actually doing? And at the end of the day, it's like, dude, now I got to take control. Now I've got to be direct. Now I've got to be argumentative. Now I've got to push back. Now maybe I've got to be condescending. I'm the client and you're not in control. I said all the time when I was working as a social worker with abused and neglected children when I was right out of college, they'd be like, I got terrible kids. I'm like, they just have you. You know, people get older, they make their own decision. But kids are 3, 4, 5, 6. What, you think they're just born bad kids? You're not in control of the environment here. Thus, they have to take control. And sometimes the only way they can get attention is by their negative behavior. Now, kids 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I'm a little bit more with you. Like, dude, maybe he's just making really bad decisions. But 2, 3, 4, 5, aside from being annoying and being a regular, pain in the ass at times, dude, it tends to be the lack of control or lack of structure in the environment that puts them in that position. Same damn thing in sales. So, hey, I appreciate y'all. Thanks for the comments. I got more, but I can't get to them all today. Leave me some more comments, questions, any feedback you got. I'm good. I'll take it. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for jumping on Pick Money. Thanks for subscribing, like, share. Get to somebody who needs to understand how to build rapport and how to connect with people, what appropriate rapport building is, and what the mythology behind it is as well. Talk to y'all soon.